Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Painfully Average Commentaries. We're playing Battle for Middle-earth and my name is DoubleV. Today we are attempting North Ithilien, which is the first mission with Faramir, which is interesting, and the first mission is Gondor proper.
Northern Ithilien is a dense wooded land of Gondor, now ruled by Sauron. A valiant few still patrol this region, hoping to one day reclaim it for Gondor.
Alright, so the timeline isn't spectacular here. I'll try to illustrate a bit why, but we're about to jump into a cutscene here, so...
There are reports of more lumber mills to the east. They're clearing away the trees, and with them, our cover. We must take out the lumber mill, or else we'll soon be battling on a barren plain. Call up more men from the Forbidden Pool.
Alright, so we are at the Forbidden Pool here, which you might remember from the movie. What you might also remember is that the timeline isn't exactly accurate there, because we just completed Helm's Deep with Rohan, and these events portrayed in this level happens a lot earlier than that, at least in the movie. I should say that I'm not 100% certain when it happens in the book, so I'll leave a bit of reservation for that, but there's a big timeline confusion there as it is, with Frodo and Sam storyline compared to the rest of the Fellowship storyline with Aragorn. So yes, we're commanding Faramir here, which is he's a ranged hero. He starts at level 1, which is a bit of a handicap. He comes in late into the game, so he's not as high leveled as the other heroes we've had before. He's quite a good hero. He has a very long range. He's not as good as Legolas, obviously, who can be. But he is very useful. And he's obviously the brother of Boromir. So yeah, we have these rangers who are one of 2 Gondor ranged units, I should say. Oh yeah, and here's a bit of display for what Faramir can do. He can pretty much take out one of those Haradrim bands of about 5 people with ease. Yeah, as I was saying, the Rangers are one of 2 ranged units for Gondor, and I believe they have a bit more range and they're a bit more powerful than their regular Gondor soldier counterparts. We'll get into those in a while. So yeah, what we're doing here is basically setting fire to that Mumakil, making... Well, that didn't really have much an effect. Usually in this level you'll have the Mumakil being... oh, the Mumakil is decomposing very quickly there, as you can see with the skeleton. Usually the Mumakil, when set on fire, will stampede in a frenzy, killing everything in its path pretty much, which is very useful. But there it didn't really kill anything, so that's less useful. So yeah, we're basically picking up treasures here from destroying lumber mills, which is our main source of income for now.
We must contact them. They may be near. We will protect these lands.
Frodo and Sam are with us as well, which is... we haven't really controlled them since Amon Hen. Not that they're very interesting or useful, but hey. Oh, I forgot a treasure there. Might as well send Frodo and Sam. That's a mission they can handle, I think. So yeah, we also have these, they're equipped with fire arrows, some of these ranger dudes. and fire arrows are very useful. I don't know exactly how they can have flamed arrows every single time they fire an arrow, but hey, don't come here with your logic ruining this game.
Soldier battalion standing by.
So yeah, as you might have noticed, these rangers are also able to stealth when among trees, which is it's not useful in that many levels except this one, but oh well.
I must keep it safe.
So yeah, we're being introduced to a lot of the sort of basic units of Gondor in this level, which is very useful. We will be playing as mainly Gondor for the rest of the game. And they're very different from Rohan in how you play them, I would say, which is nice.
Keep a lookout.
And this mission could be described as a bit of a stealthy mission, since you do have limited amount of units, and you're faced with quite a lot of enemies.
There is still hope.
The basic strategy for Gondor, whereas with Rohan you had basically charge the enemy and don't run into pikes, and that's pretty much your strategy or tactic. Here it's pretty much you rely a lot on your archers, and so you need to also protect your archers because they're quite vulnerable. I mean, the rangers are very feeble, unfortunately. So that's why you need to have some melee units to basically cover your ranged units. Makes sense. Oh, and yeah, you can set fire to these Momaka like I did before, but it's kind of tricky, and I've noticed that it doesn't always really work. You have to. The trick is to kind of like they catch fire about here, but as you see, he only caught fire there, and you know, that was kind of too late there. I don't know if I killed it too quickly or something, but I still think it was a bit... I don't know what else I could have done. So yeah, now we're faced with having to fight these Haradrim guys. They are pike units, so they're quite nasty, especially if you have cavalry. Oh, and Faramir accidentally started firing at them there. Great. And yeah, as you can see, my regular run-of-the-mill swordsmen here are really vulnerable to pretty much everything. So you might, you shouldn't see them as tank units like that. You should more see them like, well, they are tank units, but they will die, and that's pretty much the premise for their existence. So kind of a sad premise of an existence, but hey.
There is still hope. I must keep it safe.
And I suppose we haven't really been exposed that much to the Mordor orcs either so far, or especially the Haradrim units. We were exposed to them a bit in the Eves of Fangorn mission, where the Mordor orcs had joined up with the Uruk-hai while they were holding Merry and Pippin captive. But yeah, Mordor orcs are also a bit different in terms of like, but it's not so different as with like the difference between Rohan and Gondor. It's more like quality versus quantity. Quantity obviously being Mordor's strong side.
I must keep it safe.
Oh yeah, and here we gain access from a Trebuchet, and we also get quite needed reinforcements of our fire arrows because I was kind of getting them killed, as it were. So yeah, the Trebuchet is... I don't like it, I'll be honest, because it has like the whole friendly fire aspect. It's kind of based, if you will, on the in the Return of the King, the Siege of Minas Tirith. You have like these Trebuchets. I think you have them in Osgiliath too. It's kind of weird that they have them here outside in the woods. You'd think that they would be a stationary unit, but they're not. And for some reason they're firing like pieces of rubble from like they do in Minas Tirith. As you might remember, they like start firing pieces of the wall and whatever. How they got to use those as ammunition so quickly, I have no idea. It's one of my main points of annoyance with Minas Tirith battle in the movie, but hey. Yeah, getting quite a lot of archers here. I've always loved in strategy games when you have a lot of archers and you can kind of like see the effect of them, like just a volley of rain, if you will, of arrows raining down on a target or an enemy.
This way! There! Get that one! Be alert, Rangers! Keep a lookout! Up ahead! Quietly, men! Leave no trace!
That Mumakil won't be so calm when he feels the sting of our arrows.
Steady now!
So yeah, you might be noticing that I'm saving up a bit for or saving my resources a bit, and that's because I know that we're gonna get access to a base later, so I want to use it then, because using the forbidden pool. See, there we go again. The Mumakil isn't really, you know, it's supposed to catch fire at this point, but it's not.
Watch your backs.
There we go. I guess you have to be, yeah. I don't know, I'm not saying it should happen every time that you fire at a Mumakil. But it would be nice if it would make a bit more sense and be a bit more like
The enemy could be near. Move together.
that it would happen the same about every time. But at the moment it's kind of random. So yeah, there we managed to trigger the burning, and that Mumakil did a lot of the dirty work for us.
Keep up. Hurry. You'll have the edge of my sword.
Man, we have a lot of rangers here.
It's the enemy! Quick, cover!
And I also have Frodo and Sam throwing rocks, which I always found was a bit cute in the movies, how the hobbits tend to just like grab rocks that they find, throw at the enemy. Looks like they're catching or throwing baseballs or something.
Stay focused, Rangers!
So yeah, ranged units aren't very effective against buildings and stuff, but if you do have fire arrows, then it's yeah, it's no issue really.
This one will taste my blade yet. Face me if you dare.
So yeah, northern Ithilien is pretty much an area of Gondor where, as with pretty much
So far from
all things in Middle-earth, it once belonged to Gondor, but now it is kind of like a place in ruin, or what have you.
so far from home.
And it's not a very nice place to be. I don't think Sauron has complete control over it, because it's still kind of like half Gondor, half Mordor, so it's very much a border region, but it's you don't want to live there, if you catch my drift.
Maybe near.
The burden is heavy.
There we go, so we have pretty much destroyed the base on this little hill here, or ridge, whatever you call it.
For Gondor!
And here I'm doing one of my favorite moves with Faramir, using him as a tank and just like having the rest of the archers doing the dirty work. Well, I didn't do it very well here,
Taste
but
my
oh well.
blade yet.
Basically that move that he does in the movie when they're retreating
You
from
met Sting.
was Gileath to Minas Tirith. Yeah, so the thing about the trebuchets again, we'll see that several times through this playthrough, is that they tend to basically hit my own units, my own melee units, as much as it hits the enemies. So that's kind of like taking away the point of the whole damn thing.
Go lightly. Quickly now. Aim at the neck.
The ring. It's so heavy. Follow me.
They may be near. Stay quiet. Find cover. Be calm. Look for tracks.
I think it's pretty obvious that Faramir must have 2 voice actors.
Waylay them.
I think it is his real actor at times from the movie, at least as far as I can hear, but
Quiet.
I think it switches around. I should really check this out.
I get this
Maybe I'll do
one.
that for the next episode.
Quickly, run! You have the edge of my sword.
Yeah, see, if I had some melee units there, they would have been crushed.
Keep moving. Come on. Over here.
I like the Mordor orcs building there for...
Keep moving.
I think they're called Orc Pits or something.
I get this.
There's basically an orc making a stew or something of his kin.
Place down.
It's a bit weird. I never really got that whole thing about orcs were once elves and stuff like that, because I never really understood if it was only the Uruk-hai or if it was the just the Mordor orcs, or because Saruman does tell Tirith, like, do you know how the orcs first came to be? Well, that was very pathetic, you know. Imagine Christopher Lee, that's all I'm saying.
Come on.
But yeah, he gives a basic story that the orcs were once elves, but then they were corrupted, or like, yeah. And I guess you can sort of, you know, if you imagine it, you could pretty much say, oh, well, I could imagine them being like corrupted elves or something. But that still doesn't really, I don't know. I still never really got it.
We shall remember this day.
So yeah, we destroyed this base, and you would think, based on how much of the map we've covered, that this is the end, but no, this
Set up and
this map
fast.
continues, so we'll have to get up a base here.
A convoy from Harad will be here soon. Ambush the convoy and see that it doesn't get to its destination.
Yes, so do you remember that part of the movie where Faramir and his rangers ambush the Haradrim,
Watch your backs.
and Frodo and Sam in the movie are looking at the Haradrim marchers, going like, "Elephant, they'll never believe me at home," or something, says Sam. Well, this is this part pretty much, except that Frodo and Sam have been with Faramir for a while. At least I think this is... Maybe it would be some... because they started at the Forbidden Pool, so I don't know if we're to assume that Frodo and Sam have been with Faramir for a while and that Gollum is in their hideout there, and that this is some second wave or something. I don't really know. Anyway, when I did this, I did a playthrough of this level beforehand, and then I kind of screwed up a bit, because I thought that I didn't really know what they wanted here, or what the game wanted. I thought they would come from the north, so I stationed a majority of my archers and unit focuses on the northern platforms and less to the south, because I figured that, well, the more damage I dish out, the earlier the better. But that's not really how it works. They come from the south and they're headed north through this little valley towards an orc encampment.
We must be careful.
So yeah, you have a very limited time here. You have about 5 minutes from when you get your base up to when they do arrive, and there's a lot of them. So this is not an easy mission, and if you fail here, like I did the first time, because I was placing my archers at the wrong position, then you have to restart the whole level, which kind of sucks. So it's a long level, and it's not an easy one, but it's a fun one.
People, look out! Come on!
I'm using the damn Trebuchet because this is actually one of the few points where I find it useful, because here the whole valley is going to be filled with enemy units, so it can't really fail that much. And I'm stationing my melee units to sort of cover the ramps, or whatever you might call them. As you might have seen there was a bit of a jump cut, and that's because for some reason on this level, and I think the next one as well, I had a lot of FPS problems while recording, so there's a bit of jumps here and there, at times I just had to like completely stop the recording and stop the game and everything, so I don't know if it's something particularly with this level. It was something with my recording device that as soon as I turned off the recording, the FPS was a lot better, but I've never really had that before, so I don't really know why that is, but at least now you know why it kind of happens.
Stand fast, men!
Come, Rangers. Let us scout for Gondor. Be watchful. Move together.
So yeah, I mean, the point here is just to get out as many units as you can in the limited time, because you get quite a lot of resources from the start, so
Watch your backs.
just dish out those units is the goal here. And here we have tower guards, which is from the movies. They were stationed to guard mainly the White Tree of Gondor at the very top of Minas Tirith, and there were about, I don't know, 5 of them, 10 of them. And here you can train as many battalions as you like, 5 apiece. So I don't know, there's another thing with the movie. I guess they kind of ran out of units. I mean, I would be all for it if these were sort of regular or really elite and rare units, but they're sort of your run-of-the-mill, or you know, you use them a lot while playing through as Gondor. Okay, so now we also have revealed the northern Mordor base there, which we didn't earlier for some reason. So here's the Haradrim wave. They can't really do that much as far as attacking my unit, so it's all about just getting as many archers as you can to fire as much as they can, and also killing the Muma kills, because when they go down, they usually take a few Haradrim with them, like here for example. Look at that. Beautiful. The game is being a bit choppy again here. Again, I don't think that's because of my computer that much. I think it's just something with the recording that's going on. Oof. I would say that went quite well, especially compared to the first time I did this, when, as mentioned, I thought they were coming from the other way, so... These Haradrim do have a ridiculous death scream, if you'd like. They just go ooh, ooh.
Keep up the attack. Rangers.
Stand fast, men!
Yeah, so those sword guys or swordsmen, I guess I should say. Sword guys sounds so informal. They are rune soldiers, I believe, and they basically come from northeast of Mordor, while Haradrim come from, well, southwest. So there's a bit of a difference. A lot of people probably don't know about that, but that's how it is. So yeah, my melee units are kind of getting quite hit here. You might notice that I'm using this ability called shield formation with my new tower guard, which is basically they go into, as it sounds, a shield formation, and I think their armor increases by either 75 or 80%, but their speed reduces by about the same. So, I mean, that's very useful against, especially when you get the armor upgrades later, and when they get experience and so on. It's very useful. So that's basically just to sort of spoil my general strategy and tactics here, is that I'll pretty much be playing with archers at the back and tower guards at the front, because that's just too good of a combo to avoid. getting into a bit of trouble here. I thought it would be a breeze to raid this mortar camp, but it turns out that it's not that easy. So again, this level is very challenging, I would say, in a good way, because it's not likely you'll completely fail with it unless you make some big mistake, but it is far from simple. And as you can see, we're facing a lot of units here, and you know, if you probably count the total amount of units defeated or killed in this level, you'll probably see the highest amount, except for the main battles like Helm's Deep and Minas Tirith and stuff like that. Taking a lot of damage here is basically a stand down, or whatever you call it, between ranged units here. But and here I try to use that. Yeah, there we go. It did work. That's like an ability that increases armor, I believe, of the people in the area, or it might be that the damage decreases. Basically, it's very good for a situation like this where you're just swapping arrow volleys with each other. But I did lose quite a lot of units there, especially melee units, so that ain't good. And we haven't even gotten to the camp yet, so...
Quickly now! I'll carry the banner for Gondor!
You might notice that I'm not even using Frodo or Sam. I just didn't think it was worth it, considering the risk. Like, if one of them dies, then that's the end of the level.
Find cover! These paths shall remain safe.
Yeah, not necessarily doing a very good job here. It's kind of hard to know what to do with the Muma kill, because if it does get in your face, then one swing of those tusks and your melee units or whatever units might be in the way can say goodbye. They're very lethal if you have, especially if you have upgraded units towards the later stages of the game. It's really painful to see like a battalion of units that you've upgraded through much toil and bother to just see them vanish. So we've got to watch out for that. And these tower guards, they do get better towards the end of the game, so don't worry. When I played through this game as a, well, I was going to say as a kid, but when I was younger anyway, I didn't use the tower guards that much, because I think I had some kind of respect for them. Like, I don't want to, you know, waste their time on the battlefield. No, but I thought that they weren't, probably weren't meant to be the main infantry unit. But now that I'm a bit more experienced with strategy games, or with a bit more perspective, I should say, I pretty much see it as a no-brainer to use this strategy, like, at the moment, or that I'm using at the moment, which is basically using them as a tanking unit. It's a bit unfortunate, because that's not really what it would be, you know, realistically, I say with quotation marks, but you know, you do what you gotta do. If that's what it takes to complete the level, then I guess I'll just have to do that. Again, here being a bit choppy, there's just something with this level that doesn't just go quite right. Getting quite a lot of damage here as well from the towers. That's getting to be a bit of a problem in this part of the game. That almost every orc building, and well, for that matter, most buildings in general, they get some kind of defensive defense built-in defense. As you can see, that slaughterhouse is firing arrows at my units, just like a regular tower, which is something that they didn't do before, and that has to do with that all the buildings get sort of upgraded through time. which is also why I saved some resources earlier, like I mentioned, because I wanted those resources to go to units that I trained in my base rather than the Forgotten Pool, because the Forgotten Pool didn't have that many options to do with the sort of experience that you get from building units in a building. So there we go. Very choppy here towards the end. But oh well, I managed to get through it, and well, we lost quite a few units, but I also managed to train some units there in the end that weren't used towards the end anyway, so we'll go into the next one quite prepared anyway. Also, for some reason, Frodo just kind of runs off with Sam. Kind of strange. Because that's not at all how it happens, but oh well. So yes, this was Northern Ithilien, and the next time we'll continue with more Gondor missions. Thank you for watching.